Welcome everyone to another episode of Stud and Dud presented by the Dallas School of Music. Thank you for listening. I am Josh Smith. With me each week, Dr. Bob Lawrence. How you doing, Doc?
I'm doing great, Josh. Good to be here, man.
Are you good? It's Friday.
Yeah.
Beautiful weather. That big storm came through yesterday.
Oh, yeah, the one that everything shut down in Dallas.
Oh, yeah, right.
That nothing happened.
Avery was literally coming. Oh, what are we doing with the hell? The hell's coming through at 4 o'clock. What are we going to do with our cars? This much hell I saw. Zero. Nothing.
Zero.
But it's beautiful since. Beautiful Easter weekend ahead.
It's fantastic.
But on tap today, we dive into the Masters picks, which we did pretty good, by the way. If you do remember, you picked Bubba. I picked Cat. We'll get into that as well.
Yeah, we did all right. We did all right.
And we, of course, he's my man. He's not so much your man, but it's a great tournament. We got to get into the Masters. Tiger wins his 15th major after a long drought.
Yeah, I'm happy for him, yes.
Meant to do this during the Final Four week as well. We're going to get into the Final Four shoes of all time. You ready for this, Doc? You got him picked out?
Yeah, kind of. Why are you looking all disappointed, man? I mean, I did my best.
I was only giving you 2 weeks to come up with 4 pair of shoes. I guess I'm Mr. Shoes over here. You only probably own 4 pair. I wear 4 pair this week.
I got 4 pair of Converse All-Stars. Those are my shoes right there, man.
And, of course, our coveted Stud or Dud segment, in which we get to throw our second guest into the chamber.
Looking forward to it.
Of questions. And it kind of leads us right into it. Speaking of which, our first guest, perfect timing to bring him in. We got spring footballs going on in college football.
Yes.
NFL schedule was just released this past week.
Yep.
And guess what's next weekend? The NFL draft, baby. And we are definitely going to get into that. This is how high maintenance and how badass this Dazzle is. Speaking of which, David Bazzel, thank you for joining us. Look at the sirens going off in the background over there. How you doing, David Bazzel?
The company get me. I'm doing great, guys. Man, it's a pleasure and honor to be on the show.
I thought my dad was the outlaw, but I think we're talking to the outlaw right now.
Maybe.
Well, pleasure to introduce you, the stud of all studs, David Bazzel, former Razorback. And, of course, you've done a lot, obviously, over the past 30 years now. Time flies by. It's been 30, 40 years, really, since you've done a lot of stuff. But I want to let a lot of people know, of course, you're a former Hog. Of course, I've got to get my Hogs on here. But I want to let, the people that may not know you that are going to be listening to Stud and Dud, what exactly you've done for that amazing, not only state of Arkansas, but for that Razorback Foundation. Just briefly go over a few things that you created, and I kind of want to know how they even came about. Stuff like the battle for the Golden Boot. I know the Broyles Award, but how did the Golden Boot come about?
Well, first of all, I would just say this, that I've never created a school of music. So I pale in comparison to Dr. Bob sitting on there.
David, you're too kind, my friend.
I will say this real quick. I do have, for Dr. Bob, I have 4 electric guitars on my walls in my condo.
Uh-oh.
However, I have had only 3 lessons for those 4 guitars in my entire life. So I have more guitars than I've had lessons.
There we go.
There we go. A little bit about me, yes.
There we go.
We're going to take care of that, David.
Yeah, we've got someone that can easily take care of that situation for you.
I'm sure you do. But Josh, what you were talking about, I got out of school. I played for the great Lou Holtz and Ken Hatfield, and Frank Broyles was the athletic director at the time. And when I got out of school in the mid-'80s, I like to consider myself a creative guy, and I like a good idea. And, Coach Broyles, I went to Coach Broyles and said, hey, I'd like to do an Assistant Coach of the Year award since there was not one in any sport anywhere in the world. And because Coach Broyles had so many great assistants who went on to become great head coaches, like Joe Gibbs, who won 3 Super Bowls,
Yep.
Jimmy Johnson, Barry Switzer, Johnny Majors, Hayden Fry, just to name a few. So he was so fitting, and so this will be the 24th year, and we do the Broyles Award, which goes to the top assistant collegiate coach in America. And guys like Lincoln Riley have won it, and Kirby Smart, and Tom Herman, and Chris Peterson, and Gus Malzahn. So we've got a ton of coaches. Matter of fact, I think there's 32 coaches, 35 that are currently head coaches that were Broyles Award finalists or winners. So it's a great way to honor Coach Broyles and his legacy, and it's a fundraiser for their foundation, which supports caregivers of Alzheimer's patients. So really honored to do that in honor of Coach Broyles. And then around that same time, he was so happy with it. He said, David, in his southern drawl,
oh, yeah.
David, if you have any more ideas, come to me, we'll do them. So I came back and I said, Coach, what about doing we didn't have any rivalry games. Texas was a rival, but, they didn't really consider us a rival. So I always was sort of amazed by the schools up east and around the East Coast and older schools that have these trophy games.
Yep.
So I thought, let's create a trophy game between Arkansas and LSU. It's always at the end of the year. LSU at that time had not won a national championship since the 50s. about like Arkansas had.
Yep.
And so I came up with a battle for the boot, and so that's in year 24 now. There've been some exciting games, and there wasn't really anything to model it after. So I said, let's make it as big and gaudy as we can make it.
And it is. How much does it weigh again?
It's 165, 170 pounds, and it's about 4.5 feet tall, and 24 karat gold. And it's really been neat to see teams run across the field to get it. And so we get some great games with Darren McFadden and others.
Oh yeah.
So that thing will grow, and some people go, well, it's not really a rivalry. Well, it's really more a trophy game.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's right. So it just gives the players something to play for in addition to the win.
And especially like you said, it was at the end of the year, so that was always. And I know they kind of moved it, unfortunately, but that always drew a lot to me for as well. It's like the end of the year, you're battling not only for the trophy, but it always kind of sometimes meant something at the end of the year.
That's exactly right. Sometimes that game meant who was going to Atlanta for the SEC championship, and then of course now they've changed. You got LSU playing A&M. That's what they wanted to do, and we're playing Missouri.
Yep.
So Jeff Long asked me to do a trophy for that game. So we've got the trophy. So I got, of course, this big deal weighs about 180 pounds, and it's all silver plated, and it's massive. And so both those games are going to be played this year back to back at the end of the year.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Missouri. So anyway, just something fun for the players to do. And then, Coach, I came up. I restarted the mascot program. What used to be called Big Red. I've renamed it Tusk, and it's a live Razorback. And Josh knows about it, Dr. Bob. And,
oh yeah.
When I was playing, for some reason they had a farm pig, a Duroc pig. It had fleas around. It was red, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah, so, little guy, just a little guy.
Yeah, we got to get a real Razorback in there. So I launched the Tusk program, and of course since that time I do a little like Touchdown Club, where we bring in speakers from around the country. We created 2 more national awards: the Cliff Harris Award that goes to the top small college football player in America, and then we honor some great Arkansans like Willie Rofe and Dan Hampton and Darren McFadden with awards too. So basically, what I do, guys, I spend a lot of time honoring other people and losing money while doing it. But that's okay.
well, this show is in honor of you. Then, how about that?
Very good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, speaking of two things, a couple of people, Little Rock Touchdown Club. Just a couple of names you got this year as guest speakers.
Well, we have not revealed the list yet.
Okay.
Josh, but it's a top secret until August. But just for Dr. Bob's purpose being there, last year we had Mean Joe Green, Larry Zonka, Earl Campbell, Tuto Jones, Desmond Howard, just to name a few.
I was hoping maybe to get you to stumble into that because I knew you hadn't released it yet, and somehow we would get the first release.
Now,
good try, buddy.
David, wow, I'm feeling really good because when you pull out names like Larry Zonka, right?
Oh, he's got the old schoolers, baby.
That's old school, but that's old school, brother. I love that.
Now, speaking of which, talking back to Tusk, and just to give you a pound, how big is Tusk? Are we talking 400, 500, 600 pounds? That guy?
Yeah. They generally range from 350 to about 450. I think Tusk 1, 2, and 3, I think got up to around 450. Tusk 5, I think is going to be around. He's still growing. He's going to be around 350 to 400 pounds.
Now, I know it's probably hard to say. It's almost like asking and it is, I'm sure. That's good. This should show you a pat on your back of all, you honoring people all the time. But I think I know which one it is. But out of all those you created, which one is your golden child? Which is your favorite? Little Rock Touchdown Club, Broyles Award, Golden Boot. Which is your favorite out of all of them?
Well, since I don't have many kids, they're all my children. And so I do a lot. I have a lot of bronze kids. But, the one honoring Coach Broyles was the first, and it means so much to these assistant coaches when they win it. And then some of it helps them get head coaching jobs. And it was the first assistant coach ever created anywhere on the planet. Yeah. And now the NFL is now doing it. So I think that one means the most. And plus, Coach Broyles was so iconic here in Arkansas.
Certainly.
And just to see all the coaches, Jimbo Fisher, I didn't mention it. So many coaches have come through. Cliff Kingsbury, who's now the head coach of the
Arizona Cardinals. Yep.
He was a Broyles Award finalist. So it's just neat to see the guys that come through Little Rock and Arkansas they get a chance to meet these guys before they maybe become superstar head coaches, or some of them maybe career assistant coaches.
Exactly.
And that's fine too. It's just been neat to be able to honor because when you play football, the assistant coach is really the guys you get to know as a player. That's the guy your position coach coaches you every day. Those are really the backbone of really about any sport, to be honest with you.
And that's the one I figured was going to be your golden child of all the ones. But it is. Even the one, like when I got to go the 2 or 3 times I've got to go. I got to go one of the first times I remember with Dad forever ago in the 90s and even then being kind of in awe going, wow, this is a big deal, you know? So.
Well, and I'll tell you too, the other one, the Cliff Harris Award, you guys obviously are down in Texas.
Yeah.
And, in Dallas, Cliff Harris, one of the great Cowboys of all time, and one of the great safeties to ever play the position, really changed the position. That award goes to the top small college football player in America, and that's where Cliff Harris came from, a small school, Ouachita Baptist. So that's been really neat. As a matter of fact, our first winner, Pierre Desir, who was a cornerback for the Colts, just signed a $25 million extension.
Wow.
We're getting ready to have our winner this year, Corey Ballantyne, from a small school in Illinois. He's getting ready to be drafted in the 3rd or 4th round. So, again, another opportunity to shine light on deserving people to maybe enhance their chances either be drafted or signed as coaches.
Love it. Love it. I know Bob loves it.
That's fantastic. Dude.
Spring games going on right now, so I have to ask got to get some current college football questions going on. Do you think Tua can repeat the performance that he had last year at Alabama?
Yeah, I do. You lost some really good offensive linemen for Alabama, but they recruit so well. They won't have much of a drop-off, and they got the same receivers coming back, so I see him having another very similar year statistically.
Gotcha. And I didn't know, that's what I was wondering, because it seemed like they were going to maybe, and I don't know if they are going that route, but are they going back more toward the run after last year? Saban was like, I'm done with the pass. Are they doing that? Is it going to be more balanced this year? Are they really going to...
I think they had one game that was an outlier, and that was against Clemson. I think they've got to be able to run the ball, but they're so good passing the ball. And of course, they got basically a whole new staff.
Yeah.
You got Mike Locksley, who won the Broyles Award last year.
Wow.
He's at Maryland now, and then you've got Dan Enos, who was a quarterback coach. He's gone at Miami now. So you got basically Steve Sarkisian and a whole bunch of new staffers. But it doesn't matter. Those players are so talented. I think they'll have a good run pass balance, but where they're just deadly is Tua's accuracy.
He is
pretty accurate. Those receivers are first-round draft choices all across the board.
Can Lincoln Riley transform Jalen Hurts into Kyler Murray?
Yes. He may not be quite as fast as Kyler Murray, but I'm telling you, when we brought Lincoln in as a Broyles Award winner, you could tell the guy was just sharp, confident. He knew his abilities, and you've seen it already. You saw what he did as an assistant coach and winning the Broyles Award, and then boom, his ability as a head coach with Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. Then you get a guy like Hurts, who, you think about it, he was really dominant his senior year, except for really one game. One game, and so I think they'll be just as good as they always are, and I think he's in it for the Heisman. Could you imagine if Oklahoma had 3 consecutive Heisman Trophy winners? Would that be crazy?
Oh, especially, and I could see Lincoln Riley getting some NFL, obviously, coaching offers after that if he did 3 of those in a row.
Oh, yeah. Well, would you like him down in Dallas for the Cowboys?
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence, do you think Trevor Lawrence is all that, and does Clemson repeat?
Yeah, they lost a lot of great players. I think it's going to be now. Listen, they got a chance. Yeah, I think, but though they lost some really talented players. But that Trevor Lawrence, I got a chance to see him in person when we took the Broyles Award winner over there. There's 2 guys or 3 guys on that staff that have been finalists and winners, and that's one of the keys to their success. They have kept their entire coaching staff. Brent Venables, defensive coordinator. He's been over there for so many years, but that's the side of the ball where they've lost a lot of good players. So we'll see if they can match that same level defensively. That'll be I think offensively they'll kill it again this year.
No, so you think So you think Trevor Lawrence? Do you think Trevor Lawrence will translate into the NFL? You think he's actually going to be a pretty good NFL quarterback?
I do. He's a stud. I mean, he didn't look like a freshman last year. I remember the first time I saw him in person, I thought he was a punter.
Yeah.
He was so tall and thin, but he's got the Hollywood hair and all that. But I mean, what he did last year to be able to come in as a freshman and not show hardly any chinks in his armor the whole year, it was impressive. I think he's going to be a great one in the NFL too.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Sunshine from Remember the Titans, the movie.
Right.
So okay, then who are you taking this year? If not Clemson, maybe Alabama. Who are you taking?
Man, you get your same cast of characters, that we always have in the top 10. I don't know if there's anybody out there that, one of the things about Oklahoma, you do have a quarterback that's come in that's got a lot of experience and with a very good offense. And let me tell you what's different about Clemson this year is they got a new defensive coordinator who is really, really good. And I think defensively is where they've really struggled. Remember, they probably won the national championship 2 years ago, but they give up, 40 second-half points to Georgia. So I think watch out for Oklahoma. They haven't quite been able to get over the hump, but I think defensively they're going to be better. And if I had to lay some money on it, I would put my money on Oklahoma.
Well, that's a perfect segue into this next segment, NFL Draft next weekend. Do you think Kyler Murray should be number one? Do you think he goes number one? Do you think he should be number one?
Well, you signed Cliff Kingsbury, who is a failed head coach in college. He just he was pretty good, but he failed. That's why he was fired. You hired him for one reason, and that is quarterback development, because everybody sees Patrick Mahomes, and that's what that's Cliff Kingsbury's protege. So what I think they're gonna go after him. I mean, why would you hire Cliff Kingsbury to be your head coach? And there's one thing. We want the result of a Baker Mayfield or a Patrick Mahomes. And so Cliff Kingsbury, I promise you, he's already said it, during the season, is that he feels like he can do the same kind of magic if he gets Kyler Murray. And so I do think he'll end up going number one. There can always be some surprises, but I think in this day and age, you want some sizzle, you want to sell tickets. Look what's happening at Cleveland. I mean, they got 4 primetime games right off the bat when the schedule was announced the other day.
Yep.
That's what star power can do for a franchise. And Kyler Murray is a star.
Yeah,
he was in college.
And it's pretty interesting to see over the last couple. You see a Mahomes, like you said. You see, and then you see, oh my God, in Oklahoma, from Oklahoma, in Cleveland now.
Mayfield.
Yeah, I can't believe it. Anyway, you see that kind of. It's almost the same kind of quarterback. Kind of can make some move on his, some plays with his feet. So, point being, back to your point, Arizona, too, would also be just like, it would be a certain, speaking of our show, would be a dud moment not to take Kyler Murray. It would be like,
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Did you see what happened to the last 2 quarterbacks? That you see, the Chiefs obviously had Alex Smith, but you see what they're doing now with Mahomes. You see what Cleveland's doing with Mayfield. Do you want to be that team that doesn't take Murray and some other team takes Murray, and then that team gets the success you probably could have had?
Well, and the other thing, guys, what Baker Mayfield has done is Baker Mayfield has reminded everybody, and of course you see it with Russell Wilson too, you don't have to be a 6-foot quarterback to make it in the league. And so now Kyler Murray's a tiny guy.
That's the one thing.
If Baker Mayfield can do it, if Russell Wilson can do it, why not give this kid a chance? And that kid's got an arm, he can run, he's got that it factor. So I'd be surprised if they don't draft him one.
Hey, David, you know what all these guys have in common that no one talks about?
What's that?
They're all baseball players.
And that's what Bob loves.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that Baker Mayfield played baseball. I knew that obviously Kyler Murray did, but I didn't know that about Baker.
And Mahomes played a little bit too.
Yes.
So well, I knew his dad was a major leaguer, I believe, right?
Correct.
Yep. So I didn't think about that, but yeah, that's Doc's sport is baseball.
Hey man, they play shortstop. That's why they have that sidearm release that everybody goes, wow, look at how they can throw across the field going the opposite direction. That's a shortstop move.
When you're moving, especially at the rate sometimes the shortstops are moving. No one thinks about how accurate they are, but when they're moving, you're diving for a ball, then you're having to get. That's a lot to get, and then get over to a mitt. Not like, hey, receiver that's 6'3", 6'4", go up and whatever. It's, hey, hit my mitt. I'm over here at first base. I've got to stay on this base.
Correct.
Right. That's right. Good observation. Yeah, I like that.
And a little observation that I found out. Funny stat about this draft, and this will be the first time this has ever happened. First time ever in the NFL history that there will be a name drafted in the top 10 back-to-back years. Josh Allen. Quarterback last year, Josh Allen. This year, linebacker, Josh Allen.
Why not you, man?
I know. I wish it was Josh Smith.
Why not you, man?
Just close, right? But no, I looked into that, and yeah, never in the NFL history has there been back-to-back years the same name drafted in the top 10.
Let me know when you're done with your questions for David, because I have a couple.
Go ahead.
Man. Well, first of all, David, if I heard you correctly, you mentioned that you played for the great Lou Holtz.
That's right.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Massive Notre Dame fan over here.
Talk to me about Lou Holtz, please.
Well, one of my favorite stories to tell, Bob, is that we were playing number 1 Texas in my freshman year, 1981. They were number 1 in the nation. I think we might have been top 25, maybe 18 or 20, or maybe not even ranked. But nobody gave us a chance to win. Eric Parsons was calling the game for ABC, and nobody gave us much of a chance to win. And so, but Lou was so good at preparing for the big games. That's part of his legacy, is that the same thing at Notre Dame or all the places he stopped. He was great at preparing for the big games. So he had us prepared. And so in the locker room, before we went out on the field before the game, he stood before us and he said in his remarkable way of delivering, "Men, when the national media come to this locker room after this game is over, you tell them this was not an upset. Let's go." So, we go storming out of the door, and we beat them 42-11 on national TV. And so Lou's ability to inspire and motivate and get on your butt, get in your face, he at times was not an easy guy to play for, but he was always it was magical to see how he could win the big games and prepare you for that. And then, of course, Ken Hatfield that I played for afterward was a great guy too. But Lou was a one-of-a-kind deal. He's a Hall of Famer that he was a guy that recruited me from Panama City, Florida.
Wow.
And so it was a real honor that I got a chance to play for him.
Mr. Tan guy over here.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, he. I always remembered Lou Holtz with the Arkansas Razorbacks. Man, always a threat to beat anybody at any time.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, well, remember back in the day, now I know that you're from Illinois, I believe, Bob, and I don't know how long you've been in Dallas, but one of the great games of all time with Lou Holtz is when 1982, we go to Cowboy Stadium and play the Pony Express, Eric Dickerson and Craig James.
Right.
And I believe we were the number one defense in the nation. They were the number one offense in the nation. The crowd was split right down the middle. They had about 30,000 or maybe 40. We had about 35,000 Arkansas because it was so close for the drive. And in a tie, we really got screwed on a call by the officials, and it ended up being 10-10. But that was such a major game, and if we'd have won that game, who knows what would have happened. But that was to be able to play against Dickerson and James. Of course, all those guys were getting paid at the time. We were playing against pro athletes down at SMU the whole time. But yeah, there were some great. Of course, you remember you may remember, Bob. I know Josh does the '77 Orange Bowl where Lou Holtz was a 20-point underdog, and they defeat Barry Switzer and the Oklahoma Sooners in the Orange Bowl, which was a big upset in '77.
Yes. Yeah, I heard Lou Holtz one time, though, say that the hardest place to play in college football is Florida State. He said because nothing's even happened yet, and a wild Indian comes out throwing a spear at you that's on fire.
That's a great listen. Lou has all the lines. Matter of fact, he was in Arkansas a few weeks ago, guys, and spoke at a college campus, and some of us former players went up. He got us up on stage, but he did about an hour and a half talk, and it was nonstop, rapid-fire, machine gun, quote, 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 funny line, joke, quote, quote. I mean, it was just remarkable. He's one of the best speakers there is on the planet. I've brought in a ton of them over the last 20 years. And so anyway, it's one of those things. It was an honor to be able to play for a guy that legendary.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm always thrilled to hear something like this because from afar, from an outsider looking in, Lou Holtz has always been motivating even to non-athletes, non-football players. He's just a motivating guy.
Yeah, it's really amazing that I had a chance to be around two of the most remarkably gifted motivators that have ever walked this planet, and Lou Holtz is one. Frank Broyles is the other one. I would see, again, I've been around Lou, who's as good as anybody in the world. When Frank Broyles would enter a room, his charisma, his ability to communicate, his southern drawl, he was just so impressive and imposing in the personality. So it was really neat to say, to come to Arkansas, I'm a Floridian, and to come up here and have a chance to be around two legendary guys like that.
Yeah, do you ever just sit back and reflect about really how blessed you are to have those opportunities? That's pretty phenomenal.
Oh, no question. No, if you live in Arkansas, Bob, you will be sure to be heard, and Josh knows that I can't go with about every 2 weeks without mentioning that I have the greatest game of my career against Bo Jackson.
Wow.
So I had a chance to play against the great Bo Jackson, one of the greatest athletes to ever play the game of football and maybe even baseball, multi-sport athlete. And so I'm so blessed to have been able to come up here to Arkansas from Panama City, Florida, and then I stay here in Arkansas. The people are the greatest around here. And to be able to do some things where I give back to the community, like the awards or the touchdown clubs. Of course, I do radio every day and TV during the fall covering the Razorbacks. And so I'm a blessed man, and I've been thankful for everything that God's given me, and really, really happy to be in Arkansas still.
Wow, that's awesome. I have another question for you. Maybe you can answer this because I can't go to Josh to get a straight answer on this, so I'm going to you. What is it about Arkansas, right? The fans from Arkansas, like I'll use Josh as an example. We can't do a show. You can't talk to this guy for 5 or 10 minutes without him somehow bringing into the conversation the Razorbacks.
Right. Yes.
Right.
Well,
So
it's very simple, Doc. Is that here in this state, it's much like Nebraska. You've got one major program, collegiate program that dominates coverage. And I'll give you an example. Walmart is one of the biggest companies in the world, the one of the most profitable companies in the world. But I'd be willing to bet you the Razorback brand in this state is bigger than Walmart. It's bigger than Bill Clinton, because so many generations for the last 40, 50, 60 years have grown up without a pro team, without a pro baseball team.
Right.
And the Razorbacks were the heroes for everybody. They were what you watched on the news, and so it's in the blood. That may have changed a little bit now, but that's what's been ingrained. Everybody here in Arkansas. Plus, too, Bob, you got a state that doesn't have a lot of money. It's a relatively poor state. So there's a lot of pride in that. People here in this state look for ways to find, pride in things. And the Razorbacks show that a poor state like Arkansas, they've competed for national championships in the 60s and the 70s. So it's one way this state can compete against a state that has more money, like a Florida or a Georgia or Alabama. And it's just one way to compete on an even playing field and to be able to be at least respectable. Now, we've sort of fallen on hard times recently, but, over the decades, that's generally why people love the Razorbacks here in Arkansas.
Well, I'm going to tell you how crazy it is. I took my son up there this last fall. He was invited up to go up to a baseball camp there with the Arkansas coaches. So Arkansas is one of the schools he's looking at to go and play baseball.
Right.
And so we were up there for the weekend, and on Sunday we got up in the morning and we went to mass, and the priest started the mass with a pig call.
The woo pig sue, yeah.
Can you?
Of course he did, Bob. And that's a wonderful pastor too.
There you go, Bob.
He has a close walk with God, and then right after that is calling the hog. Well,
there you go.
And I'll tell you, that's another thing. Look at the baseball program. You got Dave Van Horn.
Yeah.
You within one pitch, one foul ball catch of winning the national championship. And that program, again, is you can stick your chest down if you're a Razorback fan in baseball. You're as good as anybody in America.
Listen, I'm going to tell you what. That's one of the hidden secrets. That is an impressive program. When we were up there, the baseball facilities, all the national championships, the coaching,
The catfish hole.
the catfish hole. Yes, I know football gets the spotlight, but I'm telling you what, man, that baseball program there is second to none.
It's carried the weight, I think, of the sports program over the last decade.
No, that's exactly right, Josh. Really, the last 10 years, there's only been one really of the big three that have been decent nationally, and that is the Dave Van Horn. Norm DeBryan sort of put the Razorbacks on the map back in the 70s by taking Kevin McReynolds and Johnny Ray, guys who played in the major leagues, taking them to a World Series championship game and losing. And then all of a sudden, Frank Broyles makes a great call by bringing back Dave Van Horn, who was actually a player under Norm DeBryan. I tell you, the guy can coach. The guy is simply a great baseball coach. He will go down as a Hall of Famer, and it's fun to root for him. I mean, he's a hardcore, hard-nosed, tough kind of guy. He was up there when I was playing. He was actually a baseball player when I was playing football. And but yeah, it really is. You're right. The facilities are as good as any in America, and it's a program that's going to, as long as he's coaching, they'll be competing for national championships and SEC titles.
Now they better keep him around as long until he wants to quit coaching. That's for sure.
They just thumped Mississippi State last night in baseball. I watched the game with my son.
Oh, very good. That's right, Bob. That's good. They certainly did. It was a great pitcher's duel. I didn't realize Mississippi State was number 2. Arkansas number 10. Yeah, there will be a massive crowd there tonight. There'll probably be. Tonight and tomorrow, there'll probably be 10,000 people.
God,
and that's another thing. I think we're fourth in the nation in attendance overall, either top 5, maybe higher than that, but I know they're in the top 5.
I'm trying to get a recruitment up there. I'm trying to get the old Gardner up there to play some hog ball. That's for
He'd
sure.
love it, man.
Good. Get him up there.
Yep.
Get him up there.
Well, I know you got to run, Baz. Before you do, we've got to get you into the gauntlet of questions. And there's just some quick little questions to let everyone kind of fill you out afterward and judge how much of a stud, because we know you're a stud. Or maybe they may think you're a dud. But
no,
maybe I'm a dud. That's right.
He is definitely a stud.
Definitely. But let's get you into these questions. Biggest name, you've already mentioned 2 of them, so it's got to be one of the 2. I'm thinking biggest name you ever tackled.
Bo Jackson.
That's what I was thinking.
Woo.
I mean, That Earl Campbell? Are you kidding me?
There's stud right there, man.
Jeez.
That tackled Bo Jackson.
Loudest, and you've mentioned one. Let's see if he picks this one. But loudest stadium you've ever played to, or played at, or been to?
That game in Cowboy Stadium against SMU with the Pony Express, that was probably the loudest I've ever heard a crowd. That was in 1982.
Wow. Go-to music before the game. What'd you listen to?
Back in the 80s, interestingly enough, we were just being introduced to the Walkman, and I don't even remember, it shows you how old we are.
Yeah.
I don't even remember if we had the Walkman in the locker room.
I was wondering. I didn't know if you could listen. I was wondering. I wonder if it was just kind of before his time, if he could even listen to anything.
Yeah, back when this country was great, players had to get ready mentally without music, man. That's what was going on.
Right. My boys, when they listen to this, they'll go, "Dad, what's a Walkman?"
Yeah.
Right.
Go-to Gatorade.
The orange. The orange. I didn't like the green.
Gotcha. Favorite sport after football is?
Baseball.
Biggest sports influence. There you go, Bob. Baseball. Biggest sports influence.
Locally or nationally?
Biggest of all, your biggest sports influence you had as a kid growing up. Maybe it was
on a personal level with my dad. I was so thankful I had a dad that got me involved with sports, and he was a pretty good baseball player himself. Had a chance to play, try out for some major league teams. I think the ones that really I loved watching as a kid. Actually, really more baseball. I mean, I love Roger Staubach. I love the Cowboys and the Packers back in the 60s and 70s. I love the Red Sox when they had Carl Yastrzemski and Freddie Lynn and Carlton Fisk and
there you go.
Those kind of guys. Jim Rice.
Oh, yes.
Favorite player, any sport, all time?
Favorite player? Boy, that is a tough deal.
Well, my two. You could probably pick mine one or two right off the bat for me. You know that.
Well, I know you can always go. I know you go Elway.
Yeah.
I would purpose of you would go Elway. I guess for me, when you're a player, you play against somebody. You certainly respect, obviously, the fact that the Bo Jackson was sort of like the Jim Thorpe in our era. So I always had a lot of respect and the fact that I got to play against that guy. As a kid, had a lot of respect for Roger Staubach. Not only what he did on the field, but he served our country in the military. He was a very upstanding, godly man, and so I'd probably say that was a guy that I always sort of looked up to as a sort of a role model type of guy, Roger Staubach.
You go beer or margarita with Mexican food?
I would go margarita, or I would go just give me some straight whiskey.
Oh, there we go, baby. There we go. All right, cake or pie?
Cake.
Steak of choice, and how do you like it cooked?
Porterhouse medium.
Candy or ice cream?
Candy.
Favorite movie of all time?
We debate that on our show quite a bit. I mean, there's just so darn many. But
there is.
We would say, I got a buddy of mine who does, Roger Scott, of course, who's actually acted in films, and we can watch The Godfather 1 or 2 over and over again because of the amazing acting in it. So I would probably say either Godfather 1 or Godfather 2.
Last one you've seen? The last movie you've seen currently?
Let's see here. In the theater?
Yeah, theater at home. It could be like Hulu, Netflix, or even in theater, whatever.
I will admit this. On TV, the last thing I've watched, like on Netflix, I'm a huge Marvel Comics guy. I grew up in the 60s and 70s reading Marvel Comics. So I'm getting ready for next week, which is the big week.
Oh, yeah, baby. Trust me, we're right there. I'm taking Doc. We're going to see Endgame. Don't you worry. I'm going to take Doc to see it.
It's the Avengers Endgame. I've watched. This is no joke, Bob. I'm a real nerd. Even when I'm typing on my computer, I will put on the Avengers Infinity War and let it play in the background because I wish as a kid I would have had a movie like that made all my superheroes come to life.
There you go.
Oh, that's awesome.
There you go. All right, so all-time favorite TV show then?
I would probably go Andy Griffith.
Okay, and I was hoping you'd pick an old show. I was hoping.
Good choice.
There you go. Band, favorite band or musician all time?
I tell you, that's sort of. I've sort of gone in a lot of different directions there. And I tell you, I think my favorite band now is Queen. I really, we had Queen around when I was growing up, and I think I appreciate Queen a lot more than I used to.
All right, last one here to get you off to your. By the way, congratulations on the new house. By the way, I didn't say that earlier, but congratulations.
That's awesome.
Last meal, and maybe it could. Hopefully, you'd have it here. But last meal, your last meal. What are you eating, and what 3 people are you inviting, dead or alive?
I would probably go just because, I don't want to go fancy. I love a good greasy cheeseburger with some French fries and a large Diet Coke. I would probably invite, if you give me one from the Bible, I would probably take, Jesus or the Apostle Paul. History, I'd probably love to have Abraham Lincoln there. Sports-wise, I'd love to hang out with Babe Ruth and hear see what kind of guy he's like.
I'll bet he has some stories. I bet they all got some stories, obviously. But yes, that's a good 3 right there.
Awesome.
Bob's loving it.
David, it's been so enjoyable to just sit and listen to you today. And man, you're like my Lou Holtz, man. You got me all fired up.
There you
now.
go.
Well, listen. Congratulations on the podcast. I love it. I love the creativity of it. Of course, I've known Josh since he was just a youngster. So we love to see what he's doing down in Dallas. And Bob, congratulations. It's a pretty cool legacy that you've created an amazing music school like that down in Dallas. And I may bring one of my 4 guitars down sometime, and maybe you can help me out.
You can do it right over the interwebs.
I'll take care of you right online, brother.
Yeah, baby.
After you get settled into your new pad, man, we will get a music room set up for you, my friend.
We'll keep one of those off the wall.
Yes, we're going to keep.
That's the deal. I'm going to hold you to it.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us today, David Bazzel. And just so everyone, where can we find you? Social media, where are you at? I'm sure it's just at David Bazzel, right?
That is right, at David Bazzel, Josh. That's way on Twitter, and I spend a little time on Instagram. I'm on Facebook, too. But, yeah, and, of course, every morning I'm with Josh's dad, Hall of Famer Tommy Smith, one of the greatest legendary names, if not the, in the history of Arkansas radio. And it's really been an honor to work with your dad the last 15 years. 15 years every morning. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and y'all just celebrated that. So and thank you for having someone like you around my father. So he certainly needed over the last 15 years. And great to have a great friend like you, and even for myself. So certainly glad to have you on the show. Going to get you back on for sure, either next month, maybe not once a month, every couple of months. We'll try to get you on whenever we can. Definitely, though, my point being when football season comes back around in August, we're going to get you. I know you'll be super busy, but we'll try to fit you on some way, somehow.
Anytime, guys. Love to do it.
Love you, Basil. Appreciate you.
Right,
we'll talk to you next time, boss.
Thank you, David.
All right.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Josh.
Yes, sir. So there you go. David Bazzel.
Stud.
A super stud. I mean, you can't get much. I try to tell you, you can't get much studlier than that guy.
You've been. I got to tell you, man.
Talking him up.
You've been talking him up, and I've been kind of going like, okay, all right.
See, he even does his. That's what I love about him. He'll even do his research. He knows a little bit about you before he even gets on the show.
Listen, he's a stud, man. And you know what's crazy is that I know he could have gone on for like
hours,
right? Hours. So yeah,
we'll get him back on. That's why I was trying to get a little tease there to let you know a little bit what his background holds, which is a lot of people. I mean, he's been around a lot of big names, whether it's players or coaches.
And very impressive.
Yeah. So, and like you said, influencers to people, not only that, like you don't have to play. I mean, you played sport. You get my point. Now you're moved on to a different career in sport. You're in music, but that's still what they say and what they do can certainly inspire you.
Oh my goodness gracious. No doubt about it, man.
Someone who inspires me in ways, but maybe not so much you. We'll take it to another note. That has certainly had dud moments, but certainly the stud of all studs in golf world. But Tiger Woods, what a great Masters tournament it was.
Yes.
And I know you've kind of missed you could have watched I know you were pointing.
I was at the ballpark.
You were at the ballpark, which was another great
game.
With the
boys.
Yeah. Which is totally understandable. Y'all were like, hey, let's go to the ballpark. Well, totally
beautiful
understand it. But hey, I was glued. Once I saw Tiger was going to be in that final period, because what they did in that final round to beat the rain, they teed off that morning.
That's what I understand.
So then they went 3 in each pairing instead of just 2. So Tiger, luckily for that reason, got in the final pairing, and boy, did it work out. Because at first they're just giving it to Molinari, Francesco, and then slowly but surely, as the round goes on, I'm like, someone's got to make a move, because it's kind of like it was stalemate. And then I was, who's going to fall off? Because no one's really making moves.
Listen, we talked about that last week. I said if Tiger's in the hunt in the final round, be careful.
Watch out. We both were thinking that. I know you get my point. That's what's so funny, and
he's just intimidating when he's close.
And even though he has lost a lot of that over the last decade, obviously, but now that's he still has it. That's still in everyone's mind. Remember what he used to do?
Yes. Well, his mojo's back, man.
Oh, it's after the end of last year and now winning this major.
Oh my goodness.
I think he'll take a little bit of time off to kind of catch his breath and go, oh wow, I did do this. It is under my belt. Yeah. And I'm not saying he's going to go out and win the next 3 tournaments, no. But he's going to, the end of this year again.
I wouldn't be stunned.
That either. Exactly. But his 15th major, which is crazy, his first in a decade. I mean, it's crazy. A little over a decade, because it was June of 2008, so right over a decade. Almost, I guess it was almost right at 11 years almost. But, wow.
See, and that's right there, that's the impressive part, right?
It was the longest streak ever between.
Yeah.
That was the other.
Right.
It was the longest between.
You have to cheer for anybody that
can go over
perseveres,
11 years
perseveres,
between majors.
Correct.
And that's the longest ever in PGA history, by the way.
And continue to persevere and then finally come through.
And especially what he had to go
wonderful.
through, because most golfers just would have dwindled and said, see you later. Oh, remember what's his face?
Right.
But the fact that he had what he had for it's not like he is any of those other golfers. That is the other thing, too. He is Tiger. So if anyone's going to do it.
And let's be honest, most people had written him off.
A lot had. And that's what even like one of our little mass texts, like who was it? It was Keith in our mass text. He was like, and all those guys or all those people that were written him off said he'd never win again. I'm like,
Right.
You can't. Yeah. The guy that's only won 14, the second most ever. He had a 10-year period where he won like 59 pretty much 60 tournaments in about 10 years. Yeah, that guy. Let's cross him out forever. Like I was saying a second ago, to the whole fact, if someone's
Right.
going to do it, it's
Right.
going to be him.
Right.
Spieth, I could see him falling off, never seeing again. I mean, I could see Roy fall. I mean, not going to happen probably, but I could see them falling off and go, oh yeah, do you remember them?
Well, of course.
Because they
Of
don't have
course.
that massive resume, and
Right.
they aren't that guy. They aren't that one of this era that is the dude, the
Well,
stud.
we talked about that last week as well. You may not see another dominant force.
It might be after both of our lifetimes, honestly.
Correct.
Or right when I'm like 80 or 90.
Correct.
I might be going, oh my God, this guy's just like Tiger. And I get to see him right before I pass away, thank God. But you know what I mean? Like one of those type things.
Maybe.
But yeah, the way
maybe.
he won. I mean, and the way he still now can come back. And yeah, so it's anyway, interesting to see. Can't wait for the rest of the season. Like you even said, look, we both said golf ratings. Big time. We're up. Biggest, the morning, because they teed off in the morning. The highest rating in golf tournament. The morning ratings. The 9 a.m. to noon rating was the highest since last year's final round of the Masters.
And you know why?
The re-air.
And you know why?
I've said this for years. And one of my friends, Tyler Yaz, I hope he's listening, because I called him out on this. And point being, he was one, because he's one of those like you. He's a golf fan. He's watching no matter what. Like you're a baseball fan. You're watching no matter what, no matter who's playing.
Right.
Well, I was like, no, people like me, more people are watching, and I will be watching if Tiger's watching. It's a proof of fact, and I would send him these articles like this.
That's correct.
The afternoon, in total, 37.2 million viewers watched either the live coverage or the replay. The combined number made the most watched Sunday Masters coverage in 6 years. Oh, yeah, no one watches if yes, I get my point. If Tiger watches, it's the Tiger effect is literally what they call it.
Right.
Ratings go up.
Yeah.
Especially if he's winning and he's about to win or in the final pairing.
Yeah, and there are few, I mean, let's be honest, too. There are only few athletes that command that kind of attention across all sports. There's only a few.
Literally.
Yes.
And then certain eras.
You know, Michael Jordan certainly had that, right? If Michael Jordan was coming to town, the arenas sell out.
Kobe had it probably a little bit after that. Certainly. Right. And we're talking worldwide.
Correct.
Not just like, oh, we're in the United States. When we're talking
a name.
Yeah, a name that can go over to Japan or go over to Thailand, go over to Europe anywhere and
Correct.
go, it's all Tiger. Or LeBron probably recently. There's probably some in the soccer world now. We're not going to get, there are a few names that can go anywhere in the world. But Tiger, the longevity factor is that too. Name somebody that can go across the world since 1997, a sports figure that can, besides Jordan still probably.
Right.
That can be still noticed visibly.
Well, when
you
reach the status where you can only use half of your name and people know who you're talking about,
that too.
all you got to do is say Tiger. All
too.
you have to do is say Jordan.
Yeah.
Everybody in the world knows who you're talking about.
Big time. He had it for a while, but it kind of went away. But the logo, Tiger had a logo for a while, but Jordan, the Jumpman, as in, well, I'm not wearing him today, but when you see that, it's like the Nike
Correct.
check. When you see that little Jumpman.
Right, you know what that is.
That's a Jordan symbol.
Right.
So, great anyway. Great for the game of golf, certainly, as we said. It's great to see him back. Great to see him winning. I'm ready and honestly excited for the rest of the season. So we'll see. I mean, I know, and like I said, are you? To bring a little bit more excitement back to you for you.
For golf?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. No question about it. Tiger Woods, this is what I said again last week. Tiger Woods' relevance in golf is good for the sport. Yeah. Same thing I say, I said last week, I said Notre Dame being relevant in college football is good for college football.
It was great. It's just like I said, it was great to see that birdie on 16. Like that was one of the videos. I was like, because I was trying to update with Stud and Dud on social media and record, and kind of make, keep up with social media and get stuff going that morning. But when he hit that, it was the par 3 on 16. It was that one that hit off the hill. Well, 16's that one back in like 2005 in the when he was battling anyway. He hit it up on that hill and it rolled down and it barely flipped on the edge and fell down and he chipped in. That crazy chip.
Right.
Well, the same thing, that same hill, he hit his tee shot right up and it rolled right down, almost a hole in one. But yeah, hit it about, I mean, you knew he had it then. He was up 2 with 2 to play. There's no way he's letting that go. But I was just like, wow, he's done it. When he hit it that, I mean, to have that nerve being up 1 and you're on, this is it. There's water here. You could go a lot of places again. You now have the lead in the Masters with 3 to play.
Yeah.
And he stiffs it, hits a dart.
Clutch.
I mean, great to see. So great to see. And like I said, the ratings going up. And back to our picks, though. Brooks Koepka, my pick, came in tied for 2nd. Yours, Bubba Watson, even came tied for 12th.
Not bad.
Justin Thomas, another name you mentioned last week, hit a hole in one.
Yes.
He hit one of the hole in ones. I remember watching that.
He was a sleeper for me.
He was one of your sleepers. But hey, he hit a hole in one. Not many people can say that.
Right.
So we did good on our picks. We're doing good.
Not bad, man.
Not bad, Dak. Not bad. So let's get into it. Final fours. The final 4 of our all-time shoes.
Converse All-Star.
Is it just Converse All-Star versus Converse All-Star?
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's all it is. You don't have any dress shoes that go with it, nothing like else beside that. High top, low top to differentiate the 4.
No.
It's just all.
Stan, what was Stan? Forget.
Pistol Pete. So you're trying to
Pistol Pete. Oh, I love Pistol Pete.
There we go.
Now you're going. See now.
Look.
You're going back. Just like David said. Look, when you asked him about music before the game,
all these guys needed were something strapped around their feet.
He said, "Hey man, we didn't have music to get ready. We were back when the true athletes could just get ready mentally.
Yeah.
They didn't need music, right? Well, you're pulling out shoes, man. The whole shoe craze started way after.
It was Jordan, essentially. It was Jordan.
That's exactly right.
I mean,
that's exactly right.
Essentially, it was around Jordan and Nike because they combined, and then it just blew up.
Yeah, no,
Reebok had to keep because everyone then has to keep up with Nike. So everyone then you got to sign your athletes.
Yeah. So when I grew up, man, there were Converse All-Stars.
That was it. That was your sports shoe.
And you picked what color?
Yeah. How many were there? There weren't like now where you get pink, purple, blue.
Yeah. No.
You got like black, navy, red, white.
Yeah. Just the basic colors.
Yeah.
Right.
What was your favorite? Which one did you have most of?
White.
White. Yeah. Basic white.
Basic white, man.
Hard to keep them clean though.
All right, so what's the 4 shoes?
I know you don't even know them. I got Air Max. I got Air Max 95 Air Maxes.
I've heard of these.
Air Max 95. And I hate to even to say it because I'm not a big fan of Kanye West, but he and Adidas developed a shoe called the Yeezy. He has like 3 or 4 different ones, but the Yeezy 350 Boost. I'll wear them. I think I did wear them on one of the shows. I think already. I'm wearing, and by the way, I'm wearing a different shoe.
You know, like 350 Boost. Come on, what is
I'm wearing a different shoe. I'm trying to keep the shoe alive, so each week a different shoe. Doc's got the same ones on from show 2. I'm just kidding. I don't know. But I got in one round.
These will be on show 12 and 24.
And I didn't do colorways. We'll do that eventually. We'll maybe get we'll do a sweet six. Well, I guess I can for fun because I guess you're just going to do all Converse All Stars.
Listen, I guess when it comes to shoes,
we can get your son in here. We can do a.
Now he can talk.
Yeah, then we do like a sweet 16.
He can talk
shoes all time.
Yeah, he can talk shoes with you.
So we'll do maybe something like that next year. Have Gardner. It'd be fun. Have Gardner in, talk some baseball. He can get,
it'd be awesome.
So we'll get him in probably before that. But next year we could do this again for when the final. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I got the Air Max 95 versus the Yeezy 350 Boost, and I didn't go colorway because there are a few colors I love, and we could do. That's what I'm saying. If we did bigger, I could do like the Air Max 95, black and red, whatever. I could do. You get my point. I could seat them and have them in there. So I just did basic Air Max 95 versus the Yeezy 350 Boost. Comfort level, I'm going 350 Boost. It's one of the most comfortable shoes you'll ever wear. It's ridiculously comfort. But all-time favorite, if I had to go with one of the two, the style. I even like this. The styles are probably about the same. If I had to go to the look, they're about even.
Air Jordan.
That's on the other Final Four. Oh, this is one side. We're only on one side right now. We're on Air Max 95 versus Yeezy 350 Boost. I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm breaking it down, Doc. I'm breaking the two down.
You've given this.
I'm saying, the Yeezy 350 Boost for comfort. Anyway,
everyone your age listening to the show totally getting it.
Oh yeah.
Everyone my age listening to the show.
They're fast forwarding right now.
They're fast forwarding, going like Converse All Star.
Converse All Star. End of story. Okay, so let's talk about shoes. Okay. All right, so let's just get through this thing. Air Max 95 beats the Yeezy 3. I've had them since literally the 90s. So nostalgia. I love them. I've got probably 10 pair of them. 7-ish pair. Now, on the other side, we have Air Jordan 4s versus the Air Jordan 11s.
Ooh.
Tough call.
Big difference?
Oh, yeah. All of the 3s and 4s look pretty similar. There's certain ones that look kind of similar.
See, I didn't even know I thought there was just Air Jordan. Are you
kidding there's me? One. There's 2. We're all, He's, bro.
Okay.
Bro.
All right.
We're 30 years in already. We're up to like 30 pair.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I only like the first 12, 13. 14's when it kind of gets to meh, and then after that, I'm like, I'm good with that. But I do have 1 through 14 in all different colors.
Okay, wow.
Just so you know. So I have Jordan 4 versus Jordan 11 in my Final Four. I love those two. And after a lot of thought, it was really hard to go with even with the Jordan 11. That was there. That was like a number 1 seed. It was just beating everybody down. It got to the Final Four, no problem. The other ones kind of had a little problem, but they made it just fine. So in the end, regardless, it's the Jordan 11. He still beat down the Jordan 4. Like, hey, I love you and all, but I'm on my way to the finals already. I've already got a ticket. Do you see?
See, you should have brought some of these in so I can actually see them.
Oh, I should have.
Yeah.
Oh,
because
man.
right now I'm just kind of trying to use my imagination how these shoes.
And with the show on, I didn't think much about that. So next week, here's what I'm going to do. While
Bring
the whole
it-
show's on, I'll bring all 4 in from loser, from 4th, 3rd, 2nd,
There
to
you
first
go.
place.
Bring 'em in.
Just so you know.
Line
And
'em
they'll
up.
sit there the whole show.
There you go. Line them
It'll
up.
be a good little...
Absolutely.
So people can look at them.
Absolutely.
Background look. All right. Anyway, so Jordan 11 versus the Air Max 95. Is it even a question?
Jordan 11.
Jordan 11. So let's just move on to that. Just kidding.
Anything with Jordan on it, Jordan.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So we're going with the Jordan 11s. Love them, love them, love them. You can dress them up. You can wear them with tuxes, and people have. You can wear the Jordan, a couple of them. Jordan, the first one, the Air Jordan ones, the OGs, originals, but the 11s because they have patent leather on them.
Tennis shoes.
Iconic.
Tennis shoes with a tux.
Yep.
My dad would say, "What the hell's wrong with you?"
Boy,
What the?
go put some real shoes on. I wanted to wear them I was wanting to maybe wear them for the wedding, and Avery was like, "Ain't
Gonna
yeah,
have right, exactly.
No. So stud or dud. Let's get to the segment of the week, the
Yes.
stud or dud segment. Really not much of a stud or dud moment of the past week. A couple of smaller things, but the one thing that just broke my heart more than anything, and I'm sure touches you as well, is the Notre Dame Cathedral.
Oh my gosh.
Killed me.
Yeah.
I turned it. I literally. Well, I didn't turn it. I'll turn when I turned it on. But when I first saw it, because I was trading stocks, so I'm in Deckmar trades. That's the room I'm in all the time with my main man. So we're always in there. I'm in there in the morning. Then I kind of take my break for 3 or 4 hours in the afternoon. Then I get back in the afternoon to kind of see what stocks are rolling. And he pulls it up on his, because you're seeing what he's seeing on his screen. He pulled that up because it was kind of slow, and I was like, my mouth dropped, and I immediately ran out to the TV. Which, of course, I have the TV anyway. I went out because the TV was already on the living room, so I ran out there real quick and put it on CNN, and just was like, wow.
Yeah. Well,
Wow. And I'm glad a lot of, and you crazy thing of that. Here's a thing, and here's how studly that dud moment, but how studly that cathedral and things were built. 800 plus years ago, look at that thing. Anything that we built 800 years from now, if it's still standing, I'd be amazed.
Yeah.
And if it took a fire like that, it would be in ashes.
Yes. You don't think our strip centers will hold up?
Yeah.
Right.
God.
Right.
I mean, that is nuts to see that thing
Yeah.
800 plus years old and to hold up the way it did around the. I mean, you see that fire 100 feet tall or however tall that just engulfing it. You're just like, oh, it's a fire. That thing's engulfing it's coming out of the roof. Which
Yes.
this means that fire's 100 feet tall. 100. I mean, I'm freaking out going.
Yeah.
Trying to fathom all this, and it's still standing like nothing.
Well, with this being Easter weekend, this was actually Good Friday today.
Yeah, I know it is. Good Friday.
We know that God can take any tragedy and turn it into greatness, and Good Friday is a perfect example of that.
Yes.
And so my faith in God, I just know that greatness will come from this tragedy
Exactly.
in some way, shape, or form.
Some way, shape, or form. And regardless, they've already raised $1 billion.
Correct.
Are you kidding me?
Right. And
that's
and
already rebuilt.
And see, right there, that outpouring, that response is greatness in and of itself. That is refreshing to me, living in the day and times that we're living.
Yep.
That kind of
That
compassion.
fast. Yeah.
Yes, it's fantastic.
Great to see, but yeah, it was just just turned that on the other day, and I just wanted to,
Yes.
because I know you and your son's going to Jesuit, and
Right.
you get my point. So I know that's more.
Right.
I was baptized Catholic. I'm not so much into that scene anymore, as in I'm not
Right.
going to church all the time, but still as baptized.
But it still
Catholic.
resonates with you.
Certainly any cathedral. Anytime I pass a cathedral, I can tell it. I'm
Right.
like, oh yeah, I can instantly tell.
Right.
Like when I'm in a downtown, I
Right.
know when I see one.
Right.
And so yeah, it was sad to see, especially one of the most, if not the most, obviously iconic cathedral in
no
the
doubt
world.
about it.
So just
Yep.
it was sad to see, but glad to see the outpouring right after that.
Absolutely.
So and they said 6 to 7 years it's going to close the public while they have to get all that stuff done to
Correct.
it. So and I'm glad a lot of them how they did, but they got a lot of the good,
Oh yeah.
the
Crown
art,
of
all
Thorns.
that stuff out in time. I mean.
Correct.
Oh, thank God, literally.
Yes.
God, I mean, the picture, what's
They're-
right behind you. I
the
mean, they
Blessed
were there.
Mother,
Yeah,
right,
exactly. They were
absolutely.
all there going, let's get it. Okay, you get here. Let's help them this. And then, we're out of here. Boof, we're good.
We're good.
Yes, all right. Just let it burn. It's
Yeah,
going to be fine.
it's
I promise.
fine, man.
Just
Yes.
nuts. And then, of course, part of the Stud or Dud segment, even though it kind of happened earlier. Baz had to run. Was Baz's, stud. Certainly stud, but get out there. Let us know what you thought of him. The Chamber of Questions, of course, all his stories beforehand. So let us know what you thought about David Bazzel. Certainly, like I said, known him since probably the early 90s, mid-90s, and has been a great friend of my dad's and all the stuff that he has done for the, Arkansas.
I look forward to meeting him.
Yo, definitely so. Love to get him. Hopefully, what we should plan to try to do is maybe get something planned for when he comes down here for one of the Razorback games, maybe actually get him in a seat.
Get him in a seat, and then get him here. Do another show with him, and then after the show, we're going to treat him to some guitar lessons.
Not only that, but beforehand, I'm going to say, keep one of these off the wall, and we've got some lessons to be done.
We're going to treat him to a guitar lesson and a porterhouse cooked meat.
And see, I brought that question on solely for you.
Oh, yes.
Because I know he loves meat, and he's a big guy too, but, man,
that's awesome.
I know you love some meat and love to grill out.
Hey, before you go any further, another stud moment that we can just put on the agenda for next week. I just saw it this morning. Yankee Stadium, the New York Yankees are going to stop singing "God Bless America."
I saw that. I did see that. Glancing. I should have put that on today's thing.
Goodness.
That is. We can talk about it right now if you want to.
That's a dud.
What is that?
Oh,
I mean, are you kidding me? Or I don't understand it. It's like we're moving away, like we have with the schools doing with the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning. I mean, I did that. It's just slowly but surely moving away from allegiance to our companies. I'm like,
because Kate Smith, who recorded "God Bless America," actually recorded back in those times some songs that have racist overtones.
Okay.
Right? Of course, taking those songs completely out of context.
Exactly.
And the time frame in which they were performed and why they were performed. Completely out of context. Just like the Pledge of Allegiance. Correct. What a knee-jerk reaction, as everything is today, just constant knee-jerk reactions. I mean, I feel sorry for the Yankees. It's a terrible move.
I just feel sorry for Americans in general, and the future of Americans. I mean,
yes.
So what held this country together, and you saw after 9/11, that was the last time you saw this country so close, and everyone's putting flags out, and everyone's,
correct.
I wish we're like that all the time. Why does that only have to be on 9/11 and the days after that we can have to be?
Correct.
Why can't we be like that all the time?
Correct.
Bothers me all the time. It really does. It's like
so we'll keep an eye on that story, but it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, and hopefully the pressure will be such that they actually bring it back.
And they can. Yeah, that's one of those things where you hear a fan outpour where they're like,
correct.
It can easily happen. You see that from many different TV shows. There's so many things that I've seen in the past where you have a fan outcry. Because that's what pays.
Yep.
And you don't want to make the customer.
Yep.
So. Great show today. Good Friday. What a great Friday it was.
A great
On next week's show, discuss the NFL's draft first round because it is Thursday. Maybe they move that into the limelight. So that's Thursday night. So we'll have next Friday.
Looking forward to that.
A beautiful show to talk about. See who goes first, see who gets traded, how many trades there are.
Yes.
The last 8 hours, or if it just flies right through. Like I think the last 2 years, it's actually gone through pretty quick because there weren't so many trades.
Right.
So also we'll get back into the NBA action, see if anyone has moved on to the second round. We kind of took it, which first round's still going on, so we'll kind of dive back into that briefly next week. And definitely we'll come up, most definitely, with a food, movie, some kind of food or movie topic for next week. We're going to get back and kind of get a little bit more generated toward that, especially for Easter. I know we had Easter this week, and something we could have brought up. We'll maybe talk about that next week.
Let's
what
do
we
it.
eat for Easter.
Let's do
It's
it.
a great Easter food to eat. What we had for Easter. We
yes.
can definitely get into that next week. Let us know as well what you thought about the Bazinator, David Bazzel. Call him Uncle Baz. Love him. He's a great guy, but let us know. Stud or dud? Definitely. I hope a stud. If you think he's a dud, we're kicking you off the show ourselves. You can't hear us anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
You're blocked.
Yeah, you're blocked.
We're blocking you, but don't forget to follow us Instagram. Subscribe on iTunes, Facebook. We got YouTube. Subscribe on there. We got the first 3 videos. 4th one's finally coming out. We got all first 6 episodes already on iTunes and on SoundCloud. I'm waiting to hear back from iHeartRadio. They are taking forever, because some people listen on iHeartRadio, so those iHeartRadio fans. But iTunes, get on there and listen to us. Subscribe, download the episodes. SoundCloud, you can just get on to SoundCloud and listen to it.
That's right.
You don't have to do anything.
Tremendous.
You just boom right there. Get on SoundCloud. Stud and Dud. Instagram, it's slowly but surely. Each day I'm posting stuff, getting some tidbits, getting a quick little glimpse of what could become.
Josh.
Midweek updates. We're going to start doing those.
Yep,
got that posted for yesterday, so that way next week we'll go to midweek updates so you can see what's going to happen on Friday. So a little tease there.
Correct. Our website.
Yes, website in which we need to start getting some of the episodes on.
Yep.
But hey, it's still there. Check it out.
We'll be doing it this week.
Yep. Get some of the guests that we'll be having, Baz, and we'll have our 3rd guest coming up. Show after next, it looks like.
That's correct.
So
already committed and
yes,
going to be a big name.
But don't forget, follow, subscribe, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and studanddud.com. Until next week, I'm Josh Smith.
I'm Doc Lawrence.
I can't wait to have those shoes lined up next week, Doc.
Should I bring my Converse All-Stars?
Oh, dude, bring a couple if you
I'll
got
bring
them.
my Converse All-Stars.
Oh, we'll see you next week,
from
guys.
1970.
Until then,
Peace.
peace.